Quebec singer ALICIA MOFFET exploded onto the music scene after winning YTV's The Next Star in Quebec, and she was later a semi-finalist on La Voix, or The Voice as you may know it, all by the age of 16. Now she's 23 and has continued to gain popularity more on her own terms, as you'll hear. Just 2 years ago, she released her debut album, Billy Avenue, which was streamed over 17 million times. And since then, she's just gained more and more fans with over 400,000 followers on Instagram, 72,000 followers on Facebook, and over 200,000 subscribers right here on YouTube. She just released her EP Intertwined, which has 8 songs and is nearly half an hour long and includes the single Lullaby, which if you haven't heard it, you should definitely go and check it out, but especially go and check out the video. I got to chat with her right here in Quebec about her weird introduction into the music industry, how she's switched it up on her own terms, and the new songwriters that still inspire her.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So, this EP that's just come out.
Yeah.
When does an EP get too long to be an EP and become an LP?
I think an additional song and it was an album. But
okay.
I didn't really want to release so many, but at one point I couldn't cut down the songs. I had too many favorites. So I was like, okay, might as well just put 8 songs. But I released 3 prior to the EP coming out. So when the EP came out, it was 4 new songs. So I think it's 25 minutes to be an EP, and I think we're at 24, something like that.
Did you not feel this is the beginning of an album and just want to continue and make a full album?
I feel like I wasn't ready to say that I was releasing my second album. I feel like that's a big statement.
Mm-hmm.
And even my first album, I wasn't ready to say it was an album, and it just became one because I had 9 songs. But I feel like my first big album, 11, 12, 13 songs, for me, it's going to be my first album. To me, in my head, I released 2 projects. So Billy Avenue and Intertwined. And the next big project I'll put out will be in my head, my first album. Kind of weird, right?
But you're giving the world so many great songs already. Do you not want to hold some of these back for your first big album?
I keep writing all the time and I get tired of my songs very quickly. So, Billy Avenue, I listen back and I'm so over it. So good thing I didn't hold on to the songs, because to me, they would be not good anymore, because I listened to them so much while they're being made. I listened to them from the demo to the final version. I must listen to them, I don't know, 70 times before they get released. So I get tired of it so much. So that's why I just always keep on writing, and I just release my favorite ones at the moment.
Do you remember from the first album, do you remember what was the first song that you wrote on that album?
The first song I wrote.
How old would you have been at that point?
It was in 2018. I was 19 going on 20, and it was Cursed. So the song was Cursed on Billy Avenue. I was obsessed with that song at first, and now it's my least favorite on the album. I just don't listen to it anymore. It's just also when I write songs, I write so much about what's going on in my life at that moment, that when I listen back, sometimes it can bring back weird memories that I don't want to think about. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you hear a song and it just brings you back to a memory of when you were listening to that song. It does that to everyone.
Yeah. So
I don't listen to it so much because it brings me back to weird places. And sometimes it's the opposite. I'll listen to it and it brings me joy. And yeah, it was Cursed. That was the first song I wrote for Billy Avenue.
But with a song like that and some other songs on that first album, when you play live, you're still singing some of those songs?
Yes. Well, the thing is, I really did not perform live so much in the last 3 years, especially because of COVID. So I released my album in June of 2020. So it was in the middle of the beginning, it was just right into the COVID thing.
Yeah.
And so I never got to perform. So I feel like I'm just going to fall in love again with all of my songs once I start performing. So my first show is scheduled on June 22nd in Quebec. And then I have a couple shows throughout the summer and festivals and smaller shows. I have really good shows this summer. I'm really excited because it's like I never got to that point because of COVID. So
Yeah.
I'm finally gonna like know what it feels like. Every artist is like, not every, but like a lot of artists say that like the shows is it's like the dessert. It's like that's where you want to go. It's like the final step in how can I say it? Just
Yeah, it's like
the
the
result of all
completion.
your efforts, if I can put it that way.
That's
And
it.
I never got to that point, so I'm just excited to finally be able to like live it.
Yeah, and your music's obviously connecting with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to see that all happening online and see all the numbers and all that kind of stuff, but it's different when you're in a room looking into their eyes and they're singing those songs back to you, and they're going to interpret those songs in their own way.
Yeah.
So it's that connection. That's what you're talking about with
100%.
feeling like dessert.
It's so crazy to me that I've never lived it. Like I performed a lot in my life, but I never performed for a crowd of people that came strictly just for me. Never. It was always a show with other artists or for another artist. So it never was just for me. So I feel like that's gonna be just maybe overwhelming to be like, whoa, like that many people are like very happy to see me. I'm very excited to like feel what it feels like. I've seen a crowd of people happy to see me because I was like a surprise guest, but it's just so different. So I'm very excited. It's like I need to get to that point. That's where I'm at now.
You mentioned that you've performed a lot and you started fairly early on. What was the first time you actually ended up on a stage singing?
I was 7 years old, and it was for I was taking singing classes, and it was like the end of the year show, and I was so nervous. I had a little like Tinkerbell dress, I think, and I just stood there, my feet straight up on the ground, not a single movement, and I just sang my French song. And from there, I just performed like once a year for like 3 years because I was taking classes. And then I started doing little contests here and there, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, well, you say the rest is history. The contest thing kind of went pretty well for you.
Yeah. Well, I was doing little like local contests for a while, and then I did the Next Star, which was like a big Canadian show, like a kids singing show, and I won that in 2013. And then I went on La Voix in Quebec. And after that, I just kind of did my thing on my own, and I grew my audience, and that's where I'm at now.
So for anybody who doesn't know La Voix, that's French for the voice.
The Voice,
which a lot of people will know. There's obviously different versions of The Voice in different countries.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big show.
Yeah, here in Quebec.
And I think you're about 15 at that point. Is that right?
I was 16 at. Okay. No, I was 16. Yeah, 16. It feels like a life ago. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, a lot's happened in 6 years since then, including a daughter.
Yeah.
So what would you say to that girl, like that was on the stage on La Voix? Like that's the beginning, really, of everything. What would you say to her now?
I would say take your time and trust the process. I was so excited because I was 16 and I was on La Voix, and it was just like a big wave of like lots of attention towards my talent, whatever. And I felt like at that moment I was like, oh my God, I made it. Like I made it. And then it went down because of course I'm a contestant in one of the seasons, and there's going to be a next season. And once the next season starts, you're just like old already, expired. So, and then like nobody tells you how to manage that once you go through it. And at one point I got like mad at the industry. I was like, what a shitty industry. Like, what is that? And I was young, and I had false hopes. And so I kind of stopped singing for like a year or two. I started being active on Instagram, and that was the thing at that moment. It was like influencers were starting. It was like nobody knew what influencing was. It wasn't even a thing. I just was like, I'm going to post and I want my feed to look nice, which kind of changed because I really don't care about my feed anymore. But yeah, so I just did that. And then That's it. That's what
So,
happened.
so at that point, you said you got angry at the system.
Yeah.
Is that because other people were trying to have too much influence on what you were doing? And like you say, they're always looking for the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, I think
Star.
I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it. I didn't know what the industry was, and I still don't. Honestly, I'm still learning. But I didn't understand the amount of work that had to go into it. So to me, it was just like I was listening to all these big TV shows, the X Factor, American Idol, and to me, it was just like it was gonna fall on my head, and I was gonna be discovered by Scooter Brown on the street, and like boom, and because when I had this big dream, to me, I was always the youngest in like the contest, and I was always like impressing people because I was so young, and I was always so impressed by the young girls on the shows on like X Factor, American Idol. That's what impressed me, and that's what I thought I was gonna be. I thought I would be like Billie Eilish, like at 15, like worldwide, blah blah blah, because I started so young. So at one point when I was like 16, 17, I was like, what do I do now? Like, what's next? How does it work? So I just got mad because I didn't understand, and it was like deceiving in a way. But then I just stopped having hopes, not hopes, but like I just went with the flow and worked hard, wrote music and did my thing. And now I'm not waiting for anything. I'm just like doing my thing and working hard for what I want. And then everything is just happening because I'm putting in the work.
And you know what? When you start just doing it your own way and not like trying to work the system and try and work that way, I think that's, if it's meant to happen, that's when it's going to happen.
Well, that's exactly what was frustrating me. I wasn't ready to work for the system. I didn't want to change who I was. Like, so many people approached me being like, you know what, we could try like country, like, let's do it the Taylor Swift way. We could go into country and then you move back to pop. And like some people were like, oh, you should sing French, or you should do more pop music. And I was like, it was frustrating me because I was like, I'm not going to do music for people. Like, I'm not going to do music. Of course I do music for people because I like when I make people feel something. Of course it's a big part in it, but I didn't want to do it just for people. I didn't want to make music just to be on the radio. That was, and still to this day, that's not what I want to do. I just, when I don't do stuff that sticks to who I am, it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like I feel like a fraud. So I need to be so true to who I am, because or else I feel like I don't deserve the success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes it stops me from opportunities because I'm like, no, that doesn't stick with me. And like my team is like, but that's a good opportunity. And I'm like, I really don't care. It doesn't stick with me. So sometimes it's not positive.
And these kind of stories have happened all throughout musical history over the last 50, 60 years of people being told you've got to do this, and then booking the system and proving that isn't necessarily the only way. And some of those people, they're the most authentic artists with the longest careers.
Yeah. So, and I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes like some people just make music to go on the radio and they end up being superstars, and that's good. Some people will want that. Some people will be ready to do anything to make it, and that's totally fine. I'm not ready to do anything. Like to me, it's most important to be true to myself and be like truly happy and like my own person, and then I'll do whatever like it takes to make it, but I won't do whatever it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have like values, and I follow them.
Absolutely. And you should. And the fact that all these people are paying attention to you on your social media means that they're connecting with the real you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what people appreciate about me the most, is that they feel that I'm just like, a person.
You're a person, but you just happen to be this person with this gift.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
artistry, and you're putting out songs like Lullaby, which are just
Yeah.
magnificent.
Thank you so much.
Like Lullaby, when people think of a lullaby, they have an idea in their head of what it's going to sound
Yeah.
like. That's not really what this lullaby is about.
It's not a baby lullaby. It's not to put your baby to bed. Not at all.
No.
So yeah, but it's that's what that was. It was the joke, because in like general, I'm a very like joking person. I'm like a clown. I like to joke around, and that was kind of representative of who I am. I like to like, I don't know, this song to me was really like a joke. I was laughing making it because I was like, this is so stupid. Like there's a choir singing fuck you. What the fuck?
Yeah, beautiful.
That was just so funny to me. And I was like, that's crazy. Let's do this.
So what kind of music were you listening to growing up?
My favorite artist was Celine Dion and Christina Aguilera. I really loved Britney Spears when I was young. Like I was obsessed with her up until like 2010. Like,
Okay.
and then it became too pop candy, which it was always, but I don't know. I just stopped listening to her music at one point. But what's the word? I'm searching for the word in French. My inspirations. I had to say it in French, my inspirations and what the artists that had the most impact on the music that I do today, definitely Christina Aguilera and Celine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being from Montreal, have you ever seen Celine?
I haven't. I felt like I've always gone close to meeting her. I think she knows about me though, which is kind of crazy.
What makes you say that?
Because so when I was on The Voice, my coach was Marc Dupré, which he's married to René Angélil's daughter.
Okay.
And Marc Dupré's daughter, Celine's granddaughter, loves me.
Right.
So I was like, at one point I was like, I think she knows me. That's crazy. No, I think he told me that she saw one of my anyways, maybe not at all. But I kind of like thinking that she knows me.
So yeah, like a Celine feature on the next album, that'd be nice, right?
That would be kind of crazy. She's insane. She's like an amazing artist. We all know that, but yeah.
Yeah. And so is that the kind of career that you would like, or you would like something a little bit more edgy, or what kind of career would be ideal for you?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I don't think I know the answer. I feel like the more I'm growing, the more I just want to go with the flow. Because when I was younger, I was like, I want to be a superstar. But then I have a daughter. I'm a very I'm a people person. I need to be around my family, my friends a lot, and that's what keeps me going. I don't think that I could be able to be so far for very long. I think everything is manageable and you can always arrange things when like the opportunity comes, But I don't know. I'm really going with the flow. I have goals. I'm trying to get to them, but I don't have I feel like, of course, if you gave me the opportunity to perform at the Caesar's Palace for like a couple nights in a row, I'd be like, yes, of course, like Celine does. But I don't know, going with the flow. At the same time, it must be such a thing to be that, famous. What the heck? That's crazy. Because here in Quebec, I'm very recognized when I go like to places, because here in Quebec. If I go to Toronto, nobody knows me, like nobody at all. But in Quebec, it's very intense, and sometimes even just that gets overwhelming for me. But at the same time, I really do enjoy it, because I'm very grateful for these people that they're there, and then because of them, I can do what I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know the answer.
But it's still, it's still very early. And like you say, you haven't really had a chance to play all these shows yet that I'm sure are going to be happening soon enough. So it feels like after the couple of years that we've had, and with this new EP, and then you're already thinking about the next album.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a bubble that's ready to burst.
I feel like too. I feel like it too. I feel like like I said, I've been doing that for a while. Even though I'm only 23, I started very young. So I feel like I don't wait for that pop anymore. I just, because I was deceived. No, how do you say that? Déçu. I was disappointed very often because I had too much high hopes. So I try to keep my hopes low now, just to, be satisfied easier.
Maybe that's a good thing. I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
I think there needs to be a good balance.
A little bit more.
I have a lot of drive. Like I know where I'm going, but I keep my hopes down a little more now.
And are you the kind of person that just has song ideas pop into your head every now and then, or do you sit down and think, right, today I'm going to write a new song?
It's mostly when I go in the studio, because it almost frustrates me, because on my own I can't put the song into like a form, because I don't produce or anything. I don't really play an instrument, and sometimes it's frustrating because I'm like, I know I would have an idea, but I don't know how to like put it down. So I mostly write when I'm in the studio with my producer, and that's where everything like comes to life, and that's where I'm mostly focused to write a song.
And who have you been collaborating with recently?
I write pretty much all of my songs with my producer Bynon. He's called Richard Bynon.
Yeah, he's worked with some amazing people.
Oh yeah, and he's incredibly talented and such a good person. Like, I need to have real connections with people to write. And I'm so close to him now. He's like my best friend now, that it's so easy to write with him, because when I write and when we write, we just talk about life, talk about what's going on. So you need to be open with that person, you need to be comfortable. So that's where the good music comes out. So yeah, we work really well together. He's moving actually now. He lives in Moronites in the north. Yeah. And he's moving to like, I think he's going to LA or Palm Springs, which was like, I cried so much. But then I'll just travel to go work with him over there, because I really want to keep working with him.
That's it. It gives you an excuse to go out to LA maybe when it gets when it hits minus 30 in Quebec. Yeah, you can jump on a plane.
I need to go work.
Yeah, that's it. And you can write off the expenses because it's your career.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
There you go. So as a songwriter, you must pay a lot of attention to like other new songwriters that are putting things out, and maybe you hear songs and go, oh, I wish I'd had that idea.
Yes.
That happened a lot.
Oh my God, yes. And that happened like just before the interview. I was listening to Stromae. So do you know who Stromae is?
Yeah. They're playing like 3 shows at Bell Center.
Yeah. And his shows are apparently incredible. I want to go see him at Bell Center. I'm actually hoping to be his opening act. I'm putting this in the universe.
Okay, it's out in the universe.
Imagine if that happened. That would be fucking crazy. We'll see. Yeah.
Well, but, stranger things.
We're actually trying to work on it. Like we're it's like a real idea that we have. We'll see, but whatever. I was listening to his song L'Enfer that is on his most recent album, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I was like, he's a genius, man. Like, it's crazy. I speak French, and I would never be able to write what he writes. It's just like, how did you think about something so simple but so strong? I don't know. Yeah. So it happens often. I really pay a lot of attention to the lyrics. When I listen to a song for the first time, I always read lyrics, because it's just so important to me to like understand the story.
And when you're writing your own songs, do you think about how other people are going to interpret them, or you want them to listen to them? And
I do to a certain extent. Sometimes like I have such a particular story in my head that I want to put down that I try to like make more relatable when I write it. Because sometimes like I don't want to make it so literal, because like it's my life. So, so I don't want to be too literal, which I am kind of still very literal in what I write. But I try to keep in mind that I want people to relate to the song. So I try to make it somewhat relatable.
Yeah. So So the EP's out. You mentioned you've got shows coming up.
Yeah.
What's the rest of the year looking like for you at this point?
Now we're just starting to put the show. Well, this show has started to. It's being put together already for like the past couple months, but now we're gonna start rehearsing soon. So in the next month or two, we're gonna start rehearsing and really building the show. And then shows are starting in June. Festival throughout the summer. I'll be very busy this summer. I think I have one festival a week. So I think it's gonna be busy, but I'm very excited. Very, very, very excited.
That's how you should be. Like, it sounds like everything is just, ready and waiting for you in the world.
Yeah,
And
it's
the music sounds incredible. Like,
Thank
I'm a
you so
fan of
much.
music.
Thank you.
So congratulations on all of that. And still, I just want you to stay authentic, stay true to yourself,
Thank
like
you.
we've been talking
Yeah.
about. And I'm sure big things are going to happen for you.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
No, it's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And hopefully I'll see you on that stage with Stromae.
Yes. Oh my God, I hope so. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Alicia.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.